The story begins with a girl named Coco who clearly missed the memo that you need a bloodline or a trust fund to do magic in this world. She's living in a cozy little village that looks like a screensaver for a medieval lo-fi hip-hop mix. Coco is obsessed with magic, but because she's an NPC, she spends her time fetching water from a fountain that probably has more magical potential in its plumbing than she does in her pinky finger. She stares at the water, daydreaming about the witch's book she bought years ago from a guy who looked like he was selling illegal magic at a Coachella afterparty. Coco runs back to her mom's tailoring shop. Her mom is the typical hardworking anime parent who just wants her kid to stop staring at the sky and start folding the laundry. She's convinced that one day she'll be more than just a seamstress, even though every history book tells her that magic is a closed circle for the elite, pointy hats. Coco is so desperate for a spark of magic that she's out here chanting at wet bed sheets. But the only thing she's successfully conjuring is a backache. Suddenly, the peace is interrupted by the sound of literal horsepower in the sky. A flying carriage, looking like a high-end Victorian Uber, descends toward the shop. Everything changes when a wizard named Kifri rolls into the shop, looking for some smoke-colored fabric, and rocking a haircut that probably costs more than Coco's house. Coco offers to cut the fabric for him, displaying incredible tailoring skills. Kifri applauses on Coco's focus and precision and even call it real magic, but Coco isn't falling for the participation trophy speech. She wants the real deal, the sparkles, the fire, and the tax exemptions that come with being a witch. The plot thickens when a Pegasus carriage outside pulls a Fast and Furious and crashes, leaving a group of wealthy snobs stranded because of a child going under the Pegasus and scaring it. Kifri decides to be the hero and reveals he's a witch, wearing a pointy hat, but he insists on privacy because witches are more protective of their secrets than a corporation's trade secrets. Coco is practically vibrating with excitement, her eyes turning into literal dinner plates as she watches a real-life pointy hat walk into her mom's shop. Coco is hovering in the background like a creep, trying to catch a glimpse of a wand or a spell. Kifri, being the suave wizard he is, plays it cool, but he knows he's being watched. This is where Kifri shows his stuff. He doesn't just cast a spell. He performs. He uses his wand to sketch something in the air or on a surface. The carriage slows down, the physics of the world take a coffee break, and he saves the day without breaking a sweat. Coco sees the whole thing from the window, and her brain basically short-circuits. She realizes she didn't see him chant anything. She saw him draw. Kifri calls Coco's name that has done working. Coco rushes back to the door before Kifri opens and finds her outside fatigued. The wealthy snobs head off and night falls, and while the rest of the village is sleeping, Coco is having an existential crisis. She pulls out her secret book and the ink she got from that masked traveler. She puts two and two together. The traveler told her that drawing is the key. She starts experimenting. She mimics the patterns she saw Kifri use. She's careful at first, drawing small circles on scraps of paper. Nothing happens. She gets frustrated, thinking she's just a deluded kid after all. Then ink drops on the page she just has drawn, activating the spell and creating a light show and fangirls that she can do magic. She gets a massive ego boost and decides that if a small drawing is good, a massive, complicated one from the back of the book must be God tier. She starts drawing all over the floor like a toddler with a permanent marker, but she accidentally triggers a forbidden spell. The spell she cast wasn't a light show spell. It was a petrification spell. Kifri appears and bursts in like the magical FBI, and rushes to the window and jumps, then activates his rocket shoes, sending him flying with Coco in his arms. Kifri asks Coco what spell did she draw, but Coco's mother began calling her name as the rocks came closer. She gets caught in the spell and frozen in time. She forces Kifri to let her go to save her mother. He refuses and eventually drops her, falling with no plan to land, and saves her again and activates the rocket shoes, flying far away from the house so she can't do reckless actions. Kifri tells Coco that because she knows the big secret on how to cast magic and only needs a special ink and a set of casting seals. He tells her she messed with dark web magic. He usually has to wipe her memory and leave her with 0 skills and a stone mother. She begs he doesn't erase her memories and tells him she knows the picture book by heart. This convinces him because it's the only way to track the magician, and decides to teach her magic. We open with Coco waking up in a flying carriage. Kifri, being the cool teacher, tells her he took the liberty of hailing a Pegasus carriage, which is apparently the magical equivalent of an Uber, to get them to Izalta, her new place of study. Coco is obviously spiraling. She's worried about her house and her petrified mother, but Kifri has already thought ahead. He's planted guard briar seeds all around her home. These things grow fast and form a protective barrier to keep careless visitors away from the forbidden magic site. Coco starts crying, rightfully so, and Kifri gives her a magical pick-me-up. She begins to cry about a promise she made to her mother that she will be by her side. Kifri comforts her. They enter the Alta where Kifri introduces her to her first bit of safe magic, a vapor bubble. It's a spell that pulls moisture out of the air to create a floating sphere of water. Coco is actually terrified to touch it at first because, after the turning mom to stone incident, magic is looking pretty scary. Kifri leaves and does not explain as to how it works. A pink-haired girl called Tetai appears saying to her that it's the most simplest spell and walking her through it like a toddler, explaining that you just tilt the tray and the water flows out. It's a wash your face and look forward moment, which is honestly a top-tier mentor move. Coco thanks her saying how amazing it is, but this girl loves the thank you so much that she enters a literal linguistic feedback loop with Coco. It goes on until Rish, the resident mood killer, tells them to just stop responding before Tesha ties herself in a knot. We also find out these girls are princesses. Despite the fancy robes, they're just students. Coco reveals she is a new student and never cast a spell in her life before yesterday. But then the vibe shifts, as they tell her there have already been rumors about an outsider who cast forbidden magic and was then allowed to become an apprentice. Kifri appears happy that everyone is getting acquainted and gives her a new dress. Kifri decides it's time for some world building. He explains that magic used to be for everyone. All you needed was special ink and specific patterns. But because humans can't have nice things, they used magic to create horrific wars. To save the world, a group of good souls formed the pact. Now, the world thinks magic is a chosen few deal, but it's actually just a massive, worldwide secret kept to prevent total chaos. Coco, being the overachiever she is, asks the big question: what actually is forbidden magic? Kifri's answer is simple but terrifying: magic during the age of war and banished on the day of the pact. Coco begs Kifri to teach her this forbidden magic. He agrees, telling her to follow him. He explains there are a number of forbidden spells, such as being cast directly on the human body to change your age, teleporting without a vehicle, manipulating minds, and healing. The only exception is erasing memories, which the witches use like a Men in Black neuralizer to keep their secrets safe. Kifri shows Coco a window way, basically a portal between two circular windows with matching patterns. Looking through it, Coco sees the Tower of Tomes. This is the ultimate library where a copy of every magic book ever written instantly appears. Coco immediately wants to go there to find the book that cursed her mom, but there's a catch. It's guarded by 4 librarians, and you have to pass their trials to enter. Kifri tells her to slow her roll and learn the gentler magic that brings happiness first. Coco gets assigned a room with Agat. The atmosphere is awkward. Agat is basically the student who stayed up until 4 a.m. every night for years, and she is ticked off that Coco just waltzed in through the back door. Agat shows Coco her fingers, which are stained black from drawing seals. She tells Coco point blank, "There's no way an outsider like you will ever be a witch." To lighten the mood, Kifri promises a welcome party. The hype is real, until the party consists of locally grown wheat bread because nobody had time to prepare a real meal. Agat doesn't even show up. She eats in her room like a true introvert. But hey, apparently the wheat is superior quality. So that's something. Kifri gives Coco her components, basically a magical pen and ink, and explains how a spell is actually built. It's a 3-part harmony, the sigil, the centerpiece. It determines the element fire, water, light, or wind. The signs. These surround the sigil and determine the form, size, and direction. The ring. The outer circle that locks the seal and activates the spell. If the circle isn't closed, nothing happens. Coco tries to draw a water spell. Her lines are sloppy and wobbly, and her ring doesn't even connect at first. When she finally completes the circle, she makes a classic rookie mistake. She draws one sign longer than the others. This amplifies the pressure in that specific direction, and she blasts Agat right in the face with a high-pressure water jet. Instead of punishing Coco, Kifri praises Agat for noticing why the spell failed. Then, in a move that is either brilliant or a total disaster, Kifri announces he's leaving for a few days to visit the Great Hall. He leaves Agat in charge of Coco. Agat immediately drops the nice act. She tells Coco the cushy lessons are over and her real test has begun. But this is where this story ends. Like and subscribe. Comment if you think Agat is just misunderstood.